Hi guys, and welcome to the Geek Cause podcast.
Hello.
That was the most timid hello I've ever heard. Like you weren't sure if you were allowed to say hello or talk.
At this point, I'm like, can I still talk?
Am I allowed to?
Am I allowed to do this?
Cody beats me every time we turn the podcast off, so...
Like literally every second before and after, he just like helicopter swings at me.
Welcome to the 4th episode of the Geek Cause, and we're super excited to do this. I know we always say that, but we're always excited.
Always
to do another episode. By now, you guys would have noticed that we had released our special for the Stranger Things.
Oh yeah,
that was a very fun thing to do. We can't wait to do it again.
that was really enjoyable. I really like that.
Might have to do it for, I don't know, some other movies that come out. I don't know, maybe like a Spider-Man if people are interested in it. I mean, the Spider-Man might have to talk about it a little bit, but we'll wait and see on that. But as for today, there's just so much mediocre stuff to talk. No, I'm just kidding. I always say it's like such great
topics.
No, we got a lot of topics though. We're gonna be talking about The Witcher, Marvel Phase 4. Nintendo Switch news, which is some good and some not so good. Google Stadia, of course.
All bad.
I mean, that's always what it is. We have Gamestop, which we haven't talked about yet on the podcast, but it's going to be a topic that I'm kind of looking forward to talk about, actually. And then Epic Game Store doing well with sales, at least for sales with Metro Exodus.
Yep.
I believe it is. So yeah.
Just want to point something out. This is the first week. There is no G2A news.
You're right. This is the first week since we started that there's no G2A being talked about in a podcast.
Exactly. It's a milestone.
I mean...
I think we should be proud we got this far. And we should be proud that G2A have shut up for a week.
I was about to say, we should be proud, like, everyone should just be very happy that G2A hasn't done anything else to at least have any major news talked about it. I'm sure it's done something messed up.
Oh, probably. It just hasn't hit headlines yet. Probably next week.
So, Kyle, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, Cody.
How are you enjoying this little Irish heat wave, I guess, as everyone's calling it, even though this is a typical Michigan summer for me.
Yeah, this is like hot for Ireland. Like, this is rare. I'm enjoying it. I think it's good times every time outside of recording the podcast.
Yeah, when recording, it's the worst to have this heat.
It's so bad. I hate it. It's too hot.
I mean, there's nothing we can really do about it, though, I suppose.
What if we, like, sit in, like ice baths?
Well, we could just get a big freezer and then
record inside the freezer,
yeah,
like a meat locker kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
That would work.
I know where there's one of those somewhere, probably.
Oh yeah, probably.
I mean, find something like it. Or or what I was gonna say is we could just sit outside and people can have nice sound of nature in the background and the wind blowing.
The birds tweeting and youth yelling.
And we're talking about video games.
Yeah.
Construction of the housing estates.
Yeah.
In the back.
Or we should just do it in like the center of the town, where everyone's like walking by, and we'll ask them questions as they walk by.
That actually would be interesting. It'd have to be something relevant that the people around here would even care about, though.
Trust me, a preacher appears in the town sometimes, so I doubt we would be the worst thing to happen. Yeah. I've been up to nothing much this week, though. Again, take it easy.
Just chilling out.
I spent a lot of time looking at photography stuff, talking to people, getting hints and tips and tricks and hacks, and getting good. As the kids would say.
Getting real good.
Oh yeah.
Have you
getting real good?
I noticed that you've been putting a couple more posts up on the social media. I was pretty proud of that.
Yeah,
seeing some
proud of me. So
yeah, I was getting a little excited. I was like, wow, look at this.
So he's actually doing something.
Pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. This is a lot of skill for him and effort.
Yeah,
so.
It takes a lot. Yeah, because I'm such a busy man.
Yeah, busy.
Do a lot of things.
Yeah, busy. Too busy, for, I don't know, like some sort of outdoor activities.
I hate you. I was indisposed.
So while you were indisposed, I've spent my week working on tilling out a garden so that way I can plant grass for my lovely mother-in-law and get things all set up in that for her, as well as watering my herbs that I've planted.
Oh, herbs.
Yes, I've planted some herbs.
Herbs?
Yes.
What kind of herbs?
We've got some coriander. We've got some parsley. Some basil and some chives.
I don't know, they sound illegal.
They These herbs are meant for eating, not smoking.
Well, you probably could. It just probably wouldn't be very good for you.
I mean, they'd be good if you, like, chopped them up and, like, dried them out and then smoked them on top of a meat, like I plan on doing as well.
Nice. With that glorious practice run you did?
Yeah, it was delicious. We devoured it.
Really?
Like, between that day and the next day, it was gone.
Even though it was so awkward to do.
I mean, it took a little bit to get it going, but yeah, I mean, that's the fun of smoking meat, is when you're doing it in a way that you haven't done before, or even every time that you do it.
It's the fun of it, really, when you have no idea what's going on. So you just kind of bumble your way through it, and it turns out good.
I knew what was going on. It was different than I had ever done it before.
You had no idea what was going on.
Shut up, Kyle. You're just jealous that you didn't get to taste it, and it was delicious.
I kind of am.
It was really good. The bark on it was just so good. You could see, like, a nice pink smoke, the smoke, like the outer smoke ring layer, and it was just delicious. I'm thinking it might be worth smoking one other thing before the day of the barbecue that we're having, just so I can make sure I get it down, and I can kind of moderate the temperatures now. I actually have an injector to inject my meat.
Oh.
With nice little fluids to help keep it moist.
With speed.
And yeah, and then we've got an actual digital thermometer, so it'll be a little bit easier to read the temperature.
So it won't just keep going around in circles and going backwards in circles.
Well, that was for the inside part. I can use that still for the inside, because at least I can gauge what's going on there. But for the meat, having to stick it into the meat and then, like, wait for it to go to what it is and then hope that it's as accurate as it was and having to keep pulling it out and switch it, wasn't worth it. Just got a digital thermometer so I can stick it in and it's fine. You're good to go. Yeah, so and I also got some apple wood.
Ooh,
instead of hickory.
Applewood's good.
That'll be good. Ooh, getting hungry talking about it. Yeah. We're probably making other people hungry. We should probably stop.
Yeah.
Other than that, though, yeah, things have been great. So let's just jump right into the topic.
Straight into it.
Straight into your favorite, probably, series or any sort of lore.
At the moment, my favorite anything.
Your favorite anything.
It's my favorite anything.
Anything that's ever existed is your favorite.
Out of all the things, this is probably my favorite thing.
And that is?
Good old Witcher. So happy. Finally got a trailer.
And it's a good trailer, too.
And it's actually a good trailer. It looks good.
It looks really interesting. Geralt's fucking jacked.
But the weird thing about it, he looks really jacked when he's shirtless. But when he has a top on, he doesn't look as jacked.
Like, he has his shirt off, and his muscles look like so swollenly huge.
Like, they're bigger than his head.
But then he has a shirt on, and it's like,
okay, you look just like a really in-shape guy.
Yeah, what happened?
Like, what happens as you take your shirt off?
I don't know if, like, there's some sort of...
You inflate?
Premise behind that, or if it's just the clothing is binding it down, or I don't know, but...
I like to think it was on purpose, because in the book, Geralt is described as being very muscular and very skinny at the same time. So he's supposed to be a big guy and a small guy.
Just whenever the need arises that they need to write him one way or another.
It kind of changes a bit.
He's lanky enough to dodge these attacks, but he's built enough that he can lift up a horse.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So I think they found a good balance there.
Yeah, good balance. But shirtless.
Clothed Henry looks like, just an in-shape guy. Shirtless Henry looks like the Hulk.
Yeah, it's really ridiculous. But overall, the trailer is really well done. Since it's a lot to do with the story itself, I don't know a lot of the lore, but you were saying that it looks like several of the books are...
Yeah, from what I could see, I spotted, 3 major book moments. So for those who don't know, obviously, The Witcher is a book.
Which hopefully you know that.
And in the first 2 books, it's divided up into stories. So it's like a compendium of short stories, pretty much. And the first story of the technical first book is just called The Witcher, where he fights this Striga, which is a monster, and he uses a gold chain to fight it, and he fights in a crypt. And in the trailer, we literally see him standing in a crypt, swinging not a gold chain, a silver chain.
Yeah, I was like, gold.
Yeah, I was like, why did I say gold? It's like swinging a silver chain. So it's like a 90% chance that's what that is.
Oh, well then there you go.
I'll place a bet right now if that's not the first scene of the first episode.
Oh, I
will give you money.
It probably would be. That makes sense.
Because it's the intro cinematic to the first Witcher game. And it's the first story of the first book. So it's like...
There you go. I mean, plus we have everything else in that. There's a couple questions I have about stuff. I actually asked you, since I didn't read the book.
Ask away.
I didn't know that Yennefer was...
Oh, she was like deformed.
A deformed, like hunchback. No offense to anybody that has those issues, but like she was not within how I expected her to be. But then she gets her powers, and then you can see her else throughout the trailer, and she looks stunning. Yeah.
Like, there's a quick shot, very quick shot, where she walks through 2 double doors, and her hair is all done. It's low down. Very, like, both book and game Yennefer. And I'm going to guess that's going to be, like, the first scene after her transformation, where she walks out and is, like a model now.
The first time that you actually see her. So Yennefer... in the first game was bad, wasn't she? Technically, like she was kind of like in the first game, she was like kind of like a bad character.
She's not necessarily.
She's not good.
Bad. She's on the good side.
Right.
She works with the heroes, for if there are any in Witcher really, but she works with Geralt. But pretty much she's a bitch.
Yeah, like I swear I remember when I was playing through the first one, like you first come upon her and she's kind of shitty, but she still helps out in the long run.
Oh yeah, she's assy, like, it's more of in a game thing, it's not so much in the books, but it's still there in the books. Other characters pretty much comment on the fact that Yennefer pretty much, like, just uses Geralt, for her own gain, be it politically or to kill something, then is a complete ass to him, but Geralt is...
Right, and he knows it. He
he's aware of it.
He just doesn't care because he likes booty.
Like, pretty much. But I think most people don't realise that he knows it, so when they see it, they're like, oh my god, this is terrible, she's such a bad person. But Geralt knows full well what's going on, and he's just like...
He kind of hits her back with it, though, doesn't he? Like, a lot of time. You notice it, and like you're just kind of like, oh yeah, no, yeah, he definitely gets her back with it.
Like, there's a scene in the book where, like, they've separated for a time, and he writes a letter to her, and he ends it with, my friend, Yennefer. And this is, like, when they're in, like, a lover's spat.
Right.
And he ends it with, my friend, just to kind of piss her off. And she replies with the same thing. There's a lot of that in the books and the games.
So you're expecting to see a lot of that
a lot of bickering.
Within the show.
I'm expecting, like, a lot of conflict between them. But then when the moment comes to it, that, like, disappears and you see the fact they actually do care about each other.
Right. So then if we're looking at it, at other parts of the trailer, what are some things that really stuck out to you?
Things that stuck out to me. Well, probably the main shots of the trailer were him walking through the street, kind of white shirt, with the narration over it. That very much seems like... Now, I forget the name of the story, but in the games and the books, he's called the Butcher of Blaviken. Is one of his nicknames. It's pretty much because he slaughtered a bunch of people in a town called Blaviken. Brutally and quickly, like perfect Witcher style. And he got that nickname, so I'm going to guess we're going to see that as well.
What did he do that for?
Without,
I guess maybe spoilers maybe for some people.
I can't remember exactly, but I think
it was a purpose.
The group of people were going to do something bad to the town. It was like they were bad people, so Geralt did what he does to bad people.
Even if it's just bad itself, and people might look at him wrong, whatever he thinks is right.
Yeah, the thing is, they probably would have agreed with him, but he did it on the street, and he did it quick now and nowhere. So they just kind of showed up, and he happened to be there, and he just came out, listened to them for a bit, and then just cut them all down.
That makes sense.
Like a large group of people in about 3 seconds.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And I think the thing that kind of stuck out to me is, what was it, that whole scene with like the beast coming out of the water, and he has like black eyes, and he's like, looks like he's...
Well, I don't know the monster. I know a lot of Witcher, but I don't know the monsters off by heart. But the black eyes is what... Pretty much Witchers have potions.
Right.
Pretty much to a normal person, they'd kill them. Because they're really toxic and acidic.
I remember that, and the potions would... So it's basically the effect of a potion that he's under.
Yeah, pretty much. If you drink this potion and he's...
Because I remember, like, to become a Witcher, don't you have to drink a certain potion and do something?
Yeah,
like,
you have to go through the trials of grasses.
Yeah.
Which pretty much, they just make you eat and drink a lot of things.
Yeah, that's literally all it is.
To force mutations.
Yeah. And you either die from it, or if you're a Witcher, you survive.
Yeah, you either die, survive, or come out of it a Witcher, but extremely disabled.
Yeah.
That's happened a few times, where they've come out and they're, like, really strong and powerful and great, but they're brain dead.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And it overall, it looks very interesting. Even if you don't know anything about the story, or you don't know anything about the games, I would definitely say that it's something that you would want to check out, just based on...
If you don't know the games, you're perfectly fine. You're perfectly fine. Because none of the things I've seen so far have related to the games. It looks like...
Not strictly.
They're just doing book story. And it looks like they're doing book stories as they are in the book. So you don't need any previous understanding or explanation, because it's going to be all pretty much explained to you in the show.
Right. And in the book stories that are anything that you see that's could be from the game, it's from the game's perspective that took from the book, so it's all still book related.
It's all book stuff still. But the thing that makes me a little excited, Henry Cavill commented on what it was like filming it. And obviously Henry Cavill has played all the Witcher games and read all the books, and he said filming it felt like playing The Witcher 3 for a second time. Ooh. That's how he described it.
Well, sounds like it's going to be really good. I'm excited to watch it. It's another thing for me to watch that I'm interested in. Plus, I might actually have to play through all the games again. I mean,
I've been like heavily considering it.
Like, I might have to, because I never completely beat 1, and I only played like an hour of 2, and then I like didn't have the time to play it anymore. So I really need to. Maybe I should just go in and do it and just see what happens, because I could play it on PC, but then also The Witcher 3 is coming out on Switch.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting. Obviously, a lot dumbed down graphics, but it still doesn't look too bad. So
yeah, for what it is like.
And I can go portable with it.
Exactly.
So maybe I'll check it out. On the next topic, though, related to similar stuff, TV shows and movies and stuff like that, Marvel Phase 4. What do you think about Phase 4 of Marvel, the lineup that they have available?
I have mixed feelings.
Mixed feelings?
I have mixed feelings. On one hand, I'm looking at the lineup of movies and I'm going, right, there's some really good ones in there. So I'm obviously looking forward to the new Thor.
Right.
Just because anything Taika Waititi does, I'll watch. New Doctor Strange, of course. Gotta look forward to that. And then probably Falcon and Winter Soldier I'm looking forward to. But just because Zemo is going to be in it from Civil War.
Ah, okay.
And he's going to have his iconic comic purple mask.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm looking forward to those. But the rest, I kind of like, Like, I won't be, like, rushing to see Black Widow or the Eternals.
Well, let's go up through the list real quick, just so everyone knows. So we got, and this is in order of their releases currently, of what they have available. Starting with, it looks like May 3rd, 2020, we got the Black Widow movie, then the Falcon and the Winter Soldier TV show, or Disney Plus, whatever they're going to put it on. Eternals, the movie, Shang-Chi, the movie, WandaVision, a show, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, a movie, Loki, the show, What If, a show, Hawkeye, a show, and then Thor, Love and Thunder, movie. Now, looking at that, I think almost everyone, and as bad as it seems, almost everyone could say not many people really are going to be that excited for Black Widow.
No.
We already have, based on what I've seen, like, and you know, from what I've heard, I think you said this, is it looks a lot like Jason Bourne or whatever, but just female.
Yeah.
And, which is like, you know, it's nothing against the female aspect of it. It's just, do we need another basic action movie?
Yeah.
Like, that just has no interesting premise.
And apparently it's going to have more action scenes than any other Marvel movie.
Well, that's something, I guess.
So, that's something. I don't know if it's a good thing, but it's something.
Well, I mean, yeah, having a lot of action. If it's going to be a Black Widow movie, then it's got to have action in it. Otherwise, what is that going to have in it? Because it's not going to have any interesting comic story like plot lines to it. It's gonna be like as if you just took a spy action hero movie and you just said that that's a superhero, slapped it on there.
And that's what I expect from it. Like, when I heard it was coming out, I full-heartedly just wanted, like, you know, you compared Jason Bourne, like one of the Bourne movies, just a hardcore, like, spy espionage movie with, like, chase scenes and fight scenes and plot twists at, like, 10 minutes before the end to change everything.
Yeah.
Really cliche stuff. And, we didn't know when it was going to take place either. A lot of people were saying it was going to be in the 90s, which I was like, okay, that'd be cool. We'd get some of our past.
Yeah.
But now it turns out it's taking place after Civil War, but before Infinity War.
Oh.
So it's taking place in that gap, which makes me less interested in it. Because I'm kind of like, well, we kind of know what our character was going through at that time. You kind of see the connection from the start of Infinity War and the end of Civil War.
And it's not much it just doesn't, I don't know, it really overall doesn't seem that exciting. It seems like something that we just, could have done without. You know what I'd rather have seen instead of that? An actual proper Hulk movie is what I would have rather seen.
Yeah.
And no offense, you know, to any Black Widow lovers. I just don't think it's something that required... I would have rather seen that in a show, to be honest with you.
That would have been a really good show.
Mm-hmm.
If you had
that type of stuff works better as a show, I feel like.
Limited series, say like 8 episodes, like Stranger Things, and just have a plot line that goes through this show.
Yeah.
About 8 hours long. It would do great.
Definitely. But then you go into The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Okay, it'll probably be an interesting show. I mean, it's not like it's two of the best people to be following, like heroes-wise, but they'll have a good relationship the way that they go through it, and it's you're definitely going to see the Captain America side of it, like the aspects, and that'll make it interesting.
The guy who plays Falcon, I forget his name. Oh, it's going to annoy me. He pretty much confirmed that we will see the new Captain America suit in that show.
Oh, cool.
That he will be wearing it. He'll be Captain America in the show.
Oh, that's cool then. I mean, that's interesting. So, it's weird that they're calling it the Falcon and Winter Soldier, though.
That's the thing. I don't know if he's going to call himself Captain America. They haven't said anything about that yet.
He's going to be the Falcon and wear Captain America uniform?
I think he's just going to be the Falcon, but carry the mantle, pretty much.
We'll have to see how it plays out. I can't really judge too much on that.
Or maybe that'll be an arc in the show.
It comes down to, though, where my issue is the Falcon doesn't have any sort of, like, super soldier stuff.
No.
So he's not going to have... It's not going to be any superpower, so this is just another show of... Like, yes, the Winter Soldier's really badass.
Yeah, he's pretty much a super soldier.
Pretty much. Like, for all intents and purposes, pretty much.
Yeah.
But overall, though, it's still just two guys that aren't, like, superheroes in another show like that.
Which is why I think they chose Zemo to be the villain. Because Zemo's one of the few villains that isn't like, right, I'm going to send a bunch of bad guys after you, or I'm going to, like, have a fist fight in the rain. He's very much, I'm going to mess with your head. And that's what's going to screw you up.
Right.
So it won't really come down to physical aspect, I think. Which I kind of like. And I hope it does anyways.
We'll see.
So.
Well, we only time will tell. Then you have the Eternals, which I don't know much about. I know the premise of it. I know the premise of it. It's kind of gonna be like it's kind of gonna be like, that was a weird way to say that. I don't know why. It's gonna be like a group of heroes again, but it's like I'm pretty sure the powers that they have are just more odd.
I'm pretty sure, now I could be completely wrong, but I feel like it's correct that the Eternals, Thanos comes from them. I'm pretty sure Angelina Jolie's character is Thanos' mother, if I'm not mistaken. I could be completely wrong.
No, I've looked that up before, but they're based on... Okay, let's see what we said. The Eternals are a fictional species of humanity appearing in American... They're described as an offshoot of the evolutionary process that created sentient life on Earth. So, yes, I remember now. These are the people that were, like, created from basically the people, the Celestials or whatever, that came and started the evolutionary process on Earth, and these are, like, the best of the best that were supposed to defend Earth. So they have powers and stuff like that, but the way that they're based, all of the basis of the characters are like something they were created from evolutionary process, and it's not like they have like a crazy backstory of what gave them powers or something like that.
Yeah, it's just
at least that's what I think it was in the comics. Is just they were brought from that. So it'll be interesting if they keep it up that way, because it'd be cool to have something where you only have like a short little background of like why the Eternals exist and that they've been there, but you don't have to go into each individual character's background and learn about a story that a lot of the time is played out, and it's always like kind of the same. I had a troubled past. My mom and dad hated me. Yeah, my mom sent me here. I did. It should be where it's just. Oh yeah, they're there, and maybe they've just been living. The fact they have powers means
nothing to them, so there's no need for them to go into these big, deep backstories because it's just a normal thing.
Right, with an existential crisis about how they have stuff. So it should just be kind of. So it'll be interesting. We'll start. There's not a lot about it still, and like enough, and we still don't know everybody that's going to be in it.
We know Angelina Jolie seems to be taking the lead with Michael Madden, Robb Stark from Game of Thrones.
Yep.
He's going to be in it as well. They're the only two off the top of my head I can remember. They're the two leads, though.
Well, I mean, maybe it'll actually be decent.
Might be good. Might be.
Let's see. I know that there's rumors going around that Millie Bobby Brown was going to be in it or whatever, but that's apparently been confirmed that it's not going to happen. So
she's been rumored to be in everything, though.
Yeah, because people love her now. So we'll see what happens there. We got Shang-Chi, The Legend of the Ten Rings, which I know nothing about until Kyle told me that it's basically like a martial arts thing. I looked at him and I said, like Iron Fist? And that's exactly what he did. He laughed. And he said, yeah, pretty much. The thing that's cool about this is they're actually having Asian actors and directors and writers, for the most part, be involved in this, which makes sense because that's what the story is based off of. Like Iron Fist, like you should actually be having some good representation, especially when the characters. This is one of those things when we had that discussion about what the vision of the authors had in mind and like race changing and stuff like that. Shang-Chi better be Asian, you know what I mean? He's going to be, but like that. But I'm saying like that's yes,
has to be.
You have to, because that's what his character's based off of, and it has an Asian background to it, and it has
his name is Shang-Chi.
Like you know what I mean? Like you can't do anything. It would make no sense to have a white guy or a black guy or any sort of different because this was the way that this character was written was intended. Just in case anybody was curious about how we were trying to talk about what we look at in roles, and we weren't trying to say, oh, certain characters can't do this or should be portrayed as this just because of that. This is just something where, why would you change the race when the race is obviously clearly intended to be?
It's something you shouldn't change because...
in the area of where it takes place.
Yeah.
So that's something that it's going to be interesting because we're going to actually get, instead of a show with Iron Fist that was mediocre, according to what I heard.
Yeah, it was
we'll have like a martial arts thing.
And they're going to reintroduce the Mandarin, which is cool.
Oh, okay.
The Ten Rings is the Mandarin's group. Remember in like... Which Iron Man was it? Iron Man 3? Had the Mandarin?
I don't know. I liked guy. 3, but I didn't focus too much on like...
Had the blondie guy that would glow. He could heat things up.
Was that 3? Or was that 2?
No, 2 had Whiplash.
No, yeah, 2 had Whiplash. It was 3.
It's 3. In 3, there was the whole thing where it's like, oh, the Mandarin was just an actor, and this Killian, that was his name, Killian, was actually the Mandarin, and he was just this cliche, bad guy. But they pretty much went, right, we're doing Shang-Chi, and we're letting you know that the Mandarin is a real thing. The comic Mandarin, anyways. Okay. In the comic, he's like this old Asian guy with the big beard, and he has 10 rings that give him powers.
Okay, so that makes more sense then.
Yeah.
So we're going from that, and then we have the TV show WandaVision, which it's about Scarlet Witch, Wanda, and Vision. I don't know. I'm not excited for that at all.
Not at all. The only reason I'll watch it, to be honest, is because apparently it's going to tie directly into Doctor Strange.
And maybe that'll be enough for me to want to pick it up and watch it. But see, I like Scarlet Witch as her character design, and Vision's alright as well.
Apparently we're going to find out how she got the name Scarlet Witch.
Oh, cool. Well, that'll be interesting. I just know that Vision in the MCU is in the cinematic universe, he's boring as hell to me.
Yeah.
And not cool.
In the comic, he has so much more personality.
More personality,
and it's
more powers,
yeah.
more everything.
And it's not at fault of Paul Bettany. Paul Bettany acts amazing as Vision.
It's not,
but it's just, he's just been given direction to be like, I am a robot android that has a mental capacity far above you all, so I don't have to carry the emotion like you do.
Yeah, they're going like a different direction with it, which isn't bad. I just don't like it at all. I don't care.
Yeah.
So he's just a boring character to me because of that reason. So we'll see how good that actually is. But like you said, it's leading into the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness,
which is apparently a horror movie.
Which still is making me scratch my head in how, but I mean, hey, if they can make all these movies and do all this stuff, having the first Marvel horror movie, it doesn't sound like that big of a stretch.
It makes me kind of happy because it means in their heads they know they need to mix up the formula.
Right. You have to make it a little
different. That they can't
different.
go through another 4 phases of just the same thing.
Right. I think they kind of realized that when they were doing these movies and it was just this action stuff, and then you noticed that after they, released Ant-Man, which whatever you want to say about that, they went heavily farther, like way more into the comedy aspect of it. And even though Ant-Man's reviews were like better than average, but just that, you know what I mean? Not like, oh, this is a really great movie. It's more like, it was pretty good. Most people said that it was due to the fact that it was more like a comedy and not the actual like superhero aspects of it were kind of like, whatever. Like, I mean, it's Ant-Man. What do you expect?
Yeah,
like we're not there to watch him fight people. We don't really care about that. He's a funny actor, and and it made the character interesting because it was different. And then they started introducing that even more so into the Avengers movies, because I don't know if everybody knows, but the first Avengers had some comedy bits, like all the Marvel movies did.
Yeah,
but the other Marvel movies, like the other Avengers, started getting more into it after Ant-Man. Yeah. After they realized, because like the second Avengers, that was like super serious. That was like a super serious tone to it.
Yeah.
And it was probably the least impressive of the Avenger movies.
Oh, without doubt. Age of Ultron is probably bottom for my Avengers list.
It wasn't that great because Ultron wasn't that cool.
No.
He really wasn't.
I think they had such a perfect person to do it as well. The guy who did the voice and motion capture for Ultron is just amazing.
Well, and it was...
But it's like they could have done so much more with
and it wasn't a bad movie, and the whole premise was cool, but it just didn't work out how they... Like, having a snarky robot man that was...
I would have saved Ultron for a multi-movie villain.
Yeah.
He's a multi-movie kind of villain. He isn't a one-off. The Age of Ultron in the comic was, like, world-ending.
Yeah, they pushed it super quick with it all and went real fast and had him go through, like, several different sort of phases of how he was and how he acted and what he cared. It was not as cool as it could have been. So, in saying that, though, back to Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness being a horror movie, that's going to be an interesting take. Yeah. Let's kind of speed through this now because we're taking a lot of time.
It's a really long time.
But Loki TV show, it's actually going to have Tom Hiddleston as Loki. Gonna be great, I think. I think it's going to be really interesting.
They could do anything with him. As long as they have Tom Hiddleston's Loki, I think it would just be gold no matter what.
Yeah, you're saying that he's supposed to be, like, going to different points in time, and he might be the reason why.
The rumor is that he's pretty much messing in the world events.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting if that comes out the way that they're expecting it to. Marvel's What If? It's kind of going to be like the comic books that have, like, oh, what if all the heroes were
it's based
zombies?
Off the What If comics.
What if all the it's kind of like the DC comics don't call them what ifs. They just like say this is zombie DC 127 or whatever.
Yeah.
Or they'll say like this is Multiverse 272, which is the one where all of them are females or all of them are males, and it's just a different take on it. That's all this Marvel What If is going to be.
It's the same as the comics where it's just kind of like, well, what if this? And then if it's really liked, you'll go, okay, well, we'll turn this into a story then.
That's probably,
if you want more of this, we'll give it to you.
That's probably what's going to end up happening.
That's how Marvel Zombies became a thing.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was a what-if story in the past. People really liked it. So they're like, okay, there's a Marvel Zombie universe. That's just going to be a thing that exists in the corner, that is brought up every now and again.
So dumb. I mean, it's interesting, but it's dumb. Like, have you ever seen some of the zombie, like, hero comics and, like, read some of the stuff? And it's, like, it's literally just for the visceral, like, graphic content of it. There's really the story of it's dumb. Like, you see, ooh, I'm chewing on the, like, just eating people alive, and you're just
there's
like,
no
why?
substance there, but that's what makes it great.
We got a Hawkeye TV show. Okay.
Sure, yeah.
Just Green Arrow? Is that his name?
Yeah, Green Arrow.
Green Arrow.
The show is just called Arrow.
Yeah, it's called Arrow, but that's getting canceled. Hawkeye's coming out.
Yeah,
that's just
gap
another
in the market.
There's a market that was available for Green Arrow, like Arrow that everyone liked. Now that's gone. Marvel's like, let's capitalize on it.
Yeah.
Then we got Thor: Love and Thunder. Natalie Portman's gonna be
back.
Thor.
Jane Foster Thor.
Yep, and we're going to see her somehow be Thor. We don't know
how.
Yet. We don't know how or why, but
I'm intrigued.
It'll be interesting. For all you people that say that Thor can't be a female, well,
it can actually. I hated the Jane Foster comics. I didn't like them at all, but just because I didn't like the character.
Right.
I couldn't relate to it, and the writing and just everything about it. I was just like, can this get over with?
Right.
Well, I much preferred Thor's story in the background. Yeah. Running around doing stuff.
Well, we were talking about the MCU too, and saying how we don't understand how Thor being a female is going to work in the MCU, because it's...
Yeah, in the comic, Thor is very much a title, but in the MCU, it's very much seems to be a name.
It's very much a name.
But then again, they could spin it, because like way back when in the first Thor, I think it was, when he puts the charm on Mjolnir, Odin does, he says, be worthy, whoever can lift this hammer, be worthy of the power of Thor.
Right.
So maybe that'll just...
You get the power of Thor, but that's what I'm saying. Yeah. You get the power of Thor.
Maybe they'll just do it that way.
They just call them... And that's what I was thinking. And you call them Thor, but Thor's going to be existing, and if that's his straight-up name, where's Mjolnir going to come out of? And then who's going to make it have that enchantment? Unless Thor is... Actually, you know what I'm thinking now? Here it is. This is another us predicting how something's going to go. Thor, because he's going to be doing this new thing with the Guardians of the Galaxy, and he's kind of finding himself in a different way, maybe he somehow has Mjolnir, like, oh no, he takes it from the other universe. Remember?
No, Cap went with that, remember? When he went in the teleport, he had Mjolnir.
Right.
And he came back without it.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
He went in with Mjolnir? But there's something's going to come up, and he's going to...
He disappeared with Mjolnir and then came back as an old man. He left with Mjolnir and came back with a shield. Right.
What if though...
I'll give you this for this.
What if, though, something happened and he kept it? and he kept it, or something like that, and then Thor's like, I don't need this. I have no, like, you know, I'm doing my own investigating of my own life and trying to figure out exactly what I should be doing. And he's like, whoever finds it, he puts an enchantment on, he's like, whoever finds this becomes Thor or whatever, and then like
he plunks it down,
throws it down,
and then Jane Foster's out doing her journalism thing and finds it, and it's like, oh my god, I know what this is, and like gives it a tug and ends up picking it up.
Yeah, and it's like, woo!
Yeah, and then she blows up.
She just dies.
Yeah,
it just explodes, and that's the movie. The movie's over.
There's a puff of smoke, and there I am dead.
Anyways, Phase 4, awesome. Oh, one last thing, it's not a part of Phase 4, but it's going to be, you know, it's kind of related on the same thing. Blade, they're doing Blade.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be part of Phase 5, apparently, but the movie might be out somewhere in between Phase 4 movies, but it's not part of Phase 4.
So, yeah, they're currently saying it's part of Phase 5, but I think it'll be sitting in between.
Yeah, it'll be its own thing.
I don't know how they're going to introduce it, because, like, introduce Blade, they're introducing vampires to the MCU.
Yeah, of course. But Blade's Marvel, though, isn't it? It always has been.
Yeah, it always has been, but like
it just was different take
in the MCU.
In the MCU, you're right.
Yeah,
how is it gonna?
Yeah.
How is it gonna be?
Just having vampires. I think Doctor Strange is going to be the key to all of that. I think the multiverse is going to. It's going to be like Witchers, where there's a conjunction of spears and like things pass over from different
worlds. Or maybe
worlds.
we're going to find out that there's this whole like background to everything that we didn't know, and all that. Maybe what's probably gonna end up happening is there's going to be a character that we had seen before, and then we're gonna see him again, and we're like, oh, what's he doing here? He's like, I'm a vampire, yo, and then we're all like, what? What?
What? Yeah, no, I think it's gonna be multiverse. I'll bet money on it.
It's gonna be multiverse.
Bet money it'll be multiverse.
But it's gonna be still somehow be something related to MCU.
It's going to be like
the main
because of
universe?
like the multiple snaps that caused tears and
it caused vampires to enter into the world, and they just decided to come over
from another world, even just one. All it takes.
And then
he
just started biting people. But then what about like all the other stuff that happens in Blade?
That's exactly how it works in The Witcher. The conjunction of spears happens, and the vampires just kind of fall into the world, and they're just there.
All right. Anyways, it's gonna be interesting. Good on you, Marvel. Keep up with your stuff. Stop. Make some changes. Don't get stagnant by doing the same thing over and over. So it's good to see that there's some differences here. But a lot of the TV shows, I don't think many people are gonna be that interested in.
No.
So,
which brings us on to something completely different. The Nintendo Switch, Cody.
I like that.
Back to the good old Switch. Upcoming models are going to have a longer battery life.
Right. So what's happening is they're just...
That's it.
Yeah, that's literally what's happening is they're just... They're not re-releasing. This is... I don't know how to explain this. You know how every console at some point kind of... In the middle of the time span of the console being released, there's like a soft update where they'll change like a little piece of something because it wasn't working right, or
it's a review of the console.
Exactly.
Where they've kind of looked at it and went, right, we'll improve something. What will it be? Not drift, but
it's not
the battery.
it's not, and it's not going to be like a huge revision that requires a whole new like console name or anything like that.
It's just like a Switch.
For the Xbox 360s, there was like 3 or 4 different models, and each one had a small different revision to either the heatsink or the
But they tried to add something...
The hard drive type that was in it to try and make things a little bit better.
And they tried to add something new every time to kind of justify it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like the arcade is what introduced like the arcade on Xbox Live.
But see, I would still say though, when you look at it like that, that still was its own console. It's more of... My brother back in the day did a lot of Xbox 360 modding. And there was literally like Xbox 360s that they were exactly the same, except for inside they replaced a part with a different part.
So they just did like...
Just because they, like, the hard drive maybe was cheaper, or it became cheaper, but it's the same exact thing, or specifications, but there's a little bit... Or maybe it was a tiny bit faster and cheaper, and so they're like, yeah, we'll just put that in there. Like, or it just made more sense.
Little tweaks.
Yeah, and that's what this Nintendo Switch update is going to be. It's literally just a tweak to... I think it's the CPU and the battery, and it just makes it so the CPU or the battery has a better lifespan because the CPU is processing it.
It's going from like what 3 hours to 5.5 hours or something like that, if I remember correctly, off the top of my head.
It's going from 2.5 to 6.5 hours to 4.5 to 9 hours. So you're looking at least a 2-hour increase. At the very least, 2-hour increase. And at most,
I was thinking about it playing Breath of the Wild.
Right, and at
3
most,
hours
2.5
in the past, and it's 5.5 now apparently.
Right, that's on average for certain games. It's always dependent on the games.
Yeah. They use Breath of the Wild as like the best example because that's like their baby.
Right, so you're kind of looking at like a 2.5 hour increase, which is a decent amount.
That's
decent amount of time.
Is it worth rebuying it?
No. I don't think so, but I think it's worth if you really wanted it, you could turn it in, and I would wish that they would offer some sort of like trade-in,
like swap-in kind of thing.
Like you could maybe only spend an extra $20 to $50, and then you can get the upgraded.
It's like, if you're trading in your Switch and it's in good condition, you'll have to pay like 25% of the actual asking price.
But they probably won't do that, and it'll probably just be, you have to hope that whatever business is selling it would be willing to do something. That's the only way you're going to see anything from it. So that's just a little interesting thing, though. It's, for most people, the portability of it is the biggest thing. Being able to hold it and go wherever they want. So having on average at least 2 hours to 2.5 hour increase in the amount of time that's pretty intense.
That's a good increase.
That's a good increase. That means that's like make or break for a flight somewhere. You know what I mean? An extra flight. Yeah. You have that available without
or like a layover.
The whole time. Exactly.
Yeah. Do you think them revising the battery could mean that they're in the process of overlooking the entire console in prep for an upgrade of it?
I think because of the Nintendo Switch Lite having the upgraded battery, they were like, oh, look it's actually the same price if we were to just do this now. Because the Switch Lite has a slightly better CPU and like battery, which is giving it that extra...
Yeah.
Which doesn't increase the amount of processing power from what I've read. It just increases how... It's weird. The CPU isn't increasing processing power, but it's increasing its ability to process it, so that way it processes it efficiently.
Yeah.
Whereas...
It just optimizes it.
So to me, what it sounds like is when they were doing the Nintendo Switch Lite, they just went, we could just make a new revision for the Nintendo Switch console, and there we go. Because why not? Because it doesn't change anything. It's probably cheaper to do that now, so we can actually get away with doing it.
Sure.
I hope it's the thing is that it actually they're planning on releasing a better console, but the more powerful console, if they're just now giving a slight increase to CPU and it's not actually changing much, then what is the newer console going to offer? It can't offer better resolutions with the same CPU unless it has a better graphics, like a graphics chip in it.
Could.
If it has a better graphics chip in it, and so they're kind of prepping it to get it a little bit more on par to not be as bottlenecked by the CPU, then fair. Then maybe, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see on that. Another cool thing is Southwest Airlines, which has partnered with Nintendo before for their products, but they decided to partner with them again, and a plane full of Southwest passengers got a free Nintendo Switch and Mario Maker 2.
What I wonder now is, did they get the Switch with the new battery?
That's a good question. No, because that Switch isn't released until September.
All right.
And what happens is they got on the plane. There's like some sort of like talk going around, and then all of them got tickets that just said, Southwest presents the Nintendo Switch System, the perfect travel companion. Please enjoy Nintendo Switch System and Super Mario Maker 2 game compliments of Nintendo and Southwest. And then when they stopped off, they turned in their ticket, and they got a free Nintendo Switch with Mario Maker 2.
Well, that's pretty great.
I mean...
Jealous, but pretty great.
I would say that they partnered with people, and this wasn't random, because the person who saw, like, one of the people that got this was, like, a reporter, and to me it sounds like maybe there was a higher amount of reporters, or, like, some people that had some sort of influence, and they wanted those people to have that so they could, like, talk more about it, especially with the release of Mario Maker 2 and it doing gangbusters. It's doing amazingly.
That's actually pretty clever.
So, here you go. We'll give you guys this. Some people that are just on the flight will get it too, and that's fine. We can take a hit for them to get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I only saw the one flight that got it. So it just seems weird that they just randomly would pick a random flight.
And just happen to get one with reporters on it.
Yeah. Interesting, though. It's really cool. It shows that overall, Nintendo has pretty goodwill, and they try to do good things, right?
They have good intention.
They have good intentions overall, but I think that's kind of the thing that's making the next issue so hard against them is the Joy-Con drift. Now, we talked about this with our podcast with Rich, and we had went into about how big of an issue it was that so many people were having this issue. Like, it wasn't just 10, 15, 100 people.
It's thousands.
It was thousands.
Possibly hundreds of thousands.
You're looking at potentially 1/4 to 1/5 of the people that have a Switch, which
are last year sold, what, 32 million copies?
Yeah, so if you're looking at it from a small standpoint, maybe you're saying like, oh, well, I mean, that's not that much. It's only 1 million people or whatever. It's like, well, 1 million people having a Joy-Con issue, and that just means right now. Some people could have it later down in the line. It's a big issue. Well, Nintendo was hit with a class action lawsuit that they're now a part of. Some lawyers were like, this is BS. We don't like that this is happening. They're not addressing this Joy-Con drift. They're not addressing these people having these issues. So now we're going to sue them. usually when it comes to class action lawsuits, lawyers will just find something that has an issue and they'll just take them to court because they want the money. Yeah. They don't really care so much about the issue itself. I'm sure someone brought this point up enough that these lawyers saw it and were like, let's do something about it. Let's bring it up.
Let's just do it.
But it still helps the consumer because it shows Nintendo that they have to be held accountable for their decisions.
Yeah, that there's enough care about this, that it's happened to enough people that it actually is
showing up in people's, in like their talk. So this class action lawsuit happens, and Nintendo finally opens up. And what do they say, Kyle?
No to fixing it, but if you want it fixed, just contact our support guys.
Whoa, Kyle. They did not say no. They simply ignored that they had the issue. They said, and
I was trying to make it seem a little bit better for them. I feel like if they outright just denied it, it would be better.
It would be. But instead, though,
they just kind of ignored it.
They come along, and they say, at Nintendo, we take great pride in creating quality products, and we are continuously making improvements to them.
Ooh.
We are aware of recent reports that some Joy-Con controllers are not responding correctly. But then what does the next part say?
We want our consumers to have fun with the Nintendo Switch. And if anything falls short of this goal, we always encourage them to visit nintendo.support.com so we can help.
That's it.
That's all. That's all they said.
They didn't respond to any comment or any questions or concerns about potential future fixes needed. They didn't actually say, we made a mistake here. They just said, we are aware of recent reports. We're aware of these reports. We're not saying we know that these are happening. They simply said, we are aware of the reports that people are saying. They're not even claiming that those reports are true. Nowhere do you see Nintendo say at all that we are aware of recent reports that we have an issue in our controllers. They didn't say that.
Don't even mention that. What it kind of sounds like is like, when you like make a complaint on a website and the bot responds to you and it's like, oh, thank you for your complaint. If you have any further issues, please contact our support page here.
Right.
That's what it sounds like.
I'm sorry, Nintendo. I love you, but that's a very bad move on your part. Luckily, we got some information that was dropped recently saying Nintendo sent out a memo throughout their customer service, and in it they were saying, hey, if people have any sort of Joy-Con related issues, don't ask for proof of purchase. Don't say that there's no way that they have a Joy-Con issue. Send it in and we'll fix their Joy-Con for free.
And when they say that, they mean literally just, if you say it's a Joy-Con issue, you send it in for free and they'll fix it. Even if they open up and there's not a Joy-Con issue, they'll still go through and just do it anyways.
Yeah, they said treat every case treat any case of people saying that it's a Joy-Con issue that it is. Don't call them out and say there's no issue with it. Just treat it as it is.
Which is a good move. It kind of put in a lot of belief in the customer.
Right.
It endears you more than to Nintendo after all of this.
Right. It also kind of shows you, too, because they also said, for those that had recently sent, for those that had sent in the controller and got it fixed and paid the money, the $50, to reimburse them $40 back.
That's
so almost
fantastic.
All of what they paid.
Yeah.
So that's cool. That's interesting that they would go about it. Finally, maybe they kind of realize that Nintendo's known for their goodwill, and if they fall back now, that they're gonna look really bad. Or maybe it's just literally Nintendo was trying to figure out what they wanted. Nintendo in the last several years have done nothing but try to be good to people. They really do try. I'll give them that compared to some other companies that are out there.
They actually seem to care about the people who are buying their games and consoles.
So, yes, they should be addressing this issue more, and they should get it fixed and say, we're going to fix this.
Yeah, just flat out.
But, unfortunately, when it comes to going through legal things, especially lawsuits, the minute that they admit it is the minute that they lose that.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're really, really waiting until this kind of and then maybe they'll come through and they'll say something else.
I think how they'll do it is they'll release, kind of like they've done with the battery. They released another revised version of the Switch where it's just like, oh, we're just replacing all current models on the shelf with this newer model, and it has this little tweak in it. And they'll mention this little tweak, but won't mention the fact they fixed the Joy-Cons. I say that they just won't mention that, and just have it be the new line out, and then wait for it to quiet down, and then be like, hey, any of those Joy-Con issues you're having? Huh? Yeah.
I think
that was us.
I think that they would do that as well. My only issue with that is the amount of people that they could lose that wouldn't buy the Joy-Cons or the Switch because they know that it has issues and because they kept quiet about it.
That's true.
So we'll have to wait and see if they try to do anything more about it.
I think this was a good move, though, in trying to make their console seem better. At least they communicated something that was positive.
They did a positive communication. They didn't completely take the blame, but they didn't shift blame. And they're not making it seem like the consumer is the one that's wrong. They're simply saying they're just not acknowledging that they did wrong.
Yeah. They haven't owned the problem themselves, and that's probably because of the lawsuit.
But they still want to try and fix it.
Yeah.
So that's way better than what most people would do.
Yeah, which makes me think as soon as the lawsuit's gone, they'll probably just outright address it and be like, yep.
Here it is.
We not good, we didn't do right, so we're going to fix that.
So good on them.
Good job. But from one console to another, is it even a console? Would you call it a console?
I don't know what you call it. And I feel like I'm getting tired of talking about it, but then every time we hear something about it,
you're sucked in.
Yeah.
So the Google Stadia, I still don't know what to call it, has...
Don't call it late for dinner. Because I wouldn't have it in my house when I have dinner.
But apparently it has been compared... the service has been said to be like Xbox Live Gold.
According to the what's
product
his name?
Director Andrei Domichev? Dorenichev. On a Reddit AMA, he was asked, a
bunch of different
lot of questions, and one of the key points to take away from it was that he said, quote, to be clear... Cody scrolled away from it. Thank you. To be clear, Stadia Pro is not Netflix for games. Like some people have mentioned, a closer comparison would be like Xbox Live Gold or PlayStation Plus. He says the Pro subscribers get 4K HDR streaming, 5.1 sound, exclusive discounts, and access to some free games. Roughly one free game a month, give or take, starting with Destiny 2.
In parentheses, yay.
in parentheses, yay. So, it's not Netflix for games. It's like
which
Xbox
is automatically
Live
makes it worse than
Gold?
saying that it's not Netflix for games automatically takes away the one thing that it would have had going for it. But we already knew this, right? Because we knew that you had to pay money for it.
Yeah.
So, you would never go on Netflix and be like, oh yeah, I love Netflix paying the subscription. Let me buy this movie now after I paid this for this subscription.
No, you wouldn't.
But we already knew that, but this is just confirming it, right? It sounds, to compare it to Xbox Live Gold, you're comparing it to a console that has everything that a console has going for it.
Yeah.
That also has a cheaper bonus to it called Xbox Live Gold or PlayStation Plus.
Just a quick question, because I don't know it off the top of my head. How much does your subscription to Stadia cost?
A year of Stadia is $120.
Right, $120 for
a year of Xbox Live Gold or PlayStation Plus.
I know 3 months is €15.
If you buy an annual package, it's
less.
60.
Yeah, it's less. It's
$60.
60. So it's exactly half the price.
Half the price, and is a feature on top of everything else that you get with a console.
Yeah. So with that you get discounts. Like at the moment, there's a sale on Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much sure it's a gold sale, where games like The Division 2, like brand new games that have come out in the past 3 months, are 50 to 75% off. Just because you have a gold subscription, we're going to give you this great deal, as well as 4 free games a month, 2 Xbox Ones, 2 360s.
So if you have both, you automatically get 4 free games.
And the thing is, the 360 games are all backwards compatible on the Xbox One.
There you go.
So you get 4 free games flat a month. It's like, okay, and on the Stadia, if you pay 120 a year, twice the amount, you get 1 to 2 free games a month.
Maybe.
Give or take.
Maybe. No, not even 1 to 2. Roughly 1 free game.
Give or take.
Give or take per month.
And you're starting with Destiny 2, which it's launching in November this year, isn't it?
I mean,
the Stadia.
The Stadia is launching in November, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure if this is still a thing, but isn't Destiny 2 going free to play that December?
Probably.
So they're giving you a free game that's going free in a month.
And and you're paying. This is the thing that really gets me. The Pro subscribers get 4K HDR streaming, 5.1 sound, exclusive discounts, and access to some free games. Now, that's for $120 a month. For $60 a month, you get, for Xbox Live Gold, you get free games. Not roughly 1, you get roughly 4.
Exactly 4.
Oh yeah, no, you get exactly 4. It's
guaranteed those amounts.
Yeah, at least 4.
At least,
really.
Sometimes they give you more, yeah.
You get the discounts. You get, what else do you get? You automatically, for having an Xbox One, you automatically get the 4K HDR and the 5.1 sound.
I go out and I buy my Xbox One S, I have that.
You have that in the hardware.
Before paying for my gold.
Always.
I have that.
And then you also have just the aspect of not having to run it off of internet, ever. So you're paying double the amount for Stadia that you would pay for Xbox Live Gold and getting less, really. If you really think about it, you're getting less.
And another thing is, when it comes to their free games, if you don't have your subscription when a game is free, you obviously don't get that game for free. That's grand. Expected. But if you pay your subscription, get a game for free, and then stop paying your subscription, you can't play those games until you pay your subscription again. Whereas on the likes of PlayStation Plus or Xbox Live Gold, you get your subscription, you download your free games, you stop paying your subscription, you still have those games.
That free game is your free game.
It's yours. It's them going, you paid us this month for this service, this is our gift to you.
There you go. And that's just another huge selling point for those consoles, and a huge drawback for the Stadia. I mean, the Stadia base that's free, that won't be out until next year anyways, but the Stadia base, you get no free games.
Yeah, you don't get free games at all.
You still have to pay full price for the games, because you get no discounts unless there happens to be a sale that's available to base users as well. They say, hey, it gives you free access to state-of-the-art gaming hardware to our data in our data center that you have to stream with great internet that can only be at a certain, which yes, 1080p is all anybody's gonna ever need, really, anyways. But still, you spend your money to buy games you want. I'd rather just have the Xbox One S, and be able to get, even if I didn't pay for
Xbox Live Gold, I'd still be able to just buy the games, retail price, and then that be it.
And I would be able to run them.
Spend another penny. They'll run perfectly fine.
No internet needed.
Without internet, whatever.
They'd run 4K.
I wouldn't.
Is there 4K available? They would have 5.1 stereo. So you're saying Stadia Base offers nothing, except for you can play it on, the only thing that Google Stadia has to offer is that you can play it on any screen.
Yeah.
If it has a screen and access to internet, you can play it. Well, guess what? Not everyone has access to internet, and not everyone has access to good internet. The average internet connection speed is lower than the requirement for 1080p Google Stadia Play.
Yeah.
It's lower. So you need at least 25 megabytes download to have a 1080p stream of Google Stadia, and that's what they say. That doesn't mean that's what it is. That's what they say. And if you have anything less than that, you're looking at probably only doing 720. Fine, it's still good enough, but then why would I pay for the Pro version? Because I wouldn't be able to run it in 4K, so I wouldn't pay for the Pro version.
Yeah. Well, but I have to pay for that anyways if I want to, get my free games.
Exactly. And then you have my free game. And I have...
Game, sorry. I used plural there.
And I have no long story short, I don't even feel like talking about this subject anymore because I feel like we've ran it dead. But Google Stadia is every single day is sounding worse and worse, and they're sounding less and less of what anybody would want. You know what we want? Just give us Netflix for gaming.
Yep.
Give us that.
A flat subscription fee and give me access to a library of games, even if they're all bloody indie games at the start.
Yeah, even if it was only 200 or 100 to 200 free games, or not free games, 1 to 200 for the subscription, and even if they were all 10 years old, that would be more appealing to me, being able to stream those.
Yeah. Just let me stream my Xbox Game Pass.
How about this? How about give me the option to stream, or if I have the download space, I can download it.
Yeah.
And then I can get rid of it afterwards.
Yeah. What I just said there, allow me to stream my Xbox Game Pass, that is going to be a thing. It's called xCloud. It's coming out on next-gen Xbox, so the Stadia is pretty screwed.
The Stadia is just worthless, and more and more. I know we talked about the interest in the European market, and we talked about the developers signing up for it. But you know what? More and more, I see less and less people being interested in it, and that was already a small base to start with. Trash.
Yeah.
No one wants it. No one needs it. It doesn't provide anything except for the ability to play a game on your smartphone, which, I'm sorry, no one's paying $60 for a game to only play on their smartphone anyways.
No.
So throw it all in the trash, on to the next.
They need something to bring in people. But speaking of trying to bring in people, we have good old GameStop.
GameStop.
Probably the topic I've been looking forward to the most this week.
Because GameStop in itself, in the last few years, has been pretty trash.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been trash a long time with how they treat consumers and what they offer.
Their trade-in policies and stuff like that, and their pricing. It's
also, I don't know if you know this, but their workers there being forced to sell services for like you don't try to dissuade from them buying used games. Try to force them to buy our GameStop Plus rewards. Apparently, people have lost jobs, managers have lost jobs because their metrics for their sales on that have been not good enough. Even though you don't have enough people in your store to make your metrics good.
Yeah.
So if you have only 10 people in your store for the day because people don't really care about GameStop for just getting games anymore, if 5 of those people don't have a Gamer Plus rewards, or don't want to use their Gamer Plus rewards, or already have it, and you don't sign anybody up, well, guess what? You're at a 50% clear rate for your metrics, and you get docked hours.
Yeah.
And you can get potentially docked, pay if you get demoted or have to, go down.
Yeah.
So
it's like, you Cody, would you go to GameStop to buy a game? For any reason, would you?
Probably not. I'd probably just order it off of Amazon, or I digitally download it. And nowadays,
I was literally going to say the exact same thing.
Because you can get it for cheaper.
Yeah.
Generally. And because then I don't have, or to be honest with you, when I was back in the States, our supermarkets sell games there. If I was doing a one-stop shop, I would just go into Walmart or Meijer or wherever I had that was the supermarket, and I would just walk in and buy a game there because either there was sales going on, or especially if I'm buying a brand new game, there's sales going on, or it was easy because I was already there doing shopping, so I'm going to do it anyways.
Or they have some kind of special offer.
Yeah, why make a special trip to GameStop for mediocre, advantages when I could just go to the store, buy my energy drinks, my food, my clothes, my house stuff, and then just pick up a game while I'm there?
Well, to try to get you into their store, GameStop is going to go through a bit of a rebranding. They're going to try turn... And I'm not sure the ratio they're going to do this in. I don't know if it's going to be all stores or some stores.
It just... From what the couple of articles that we've read, it's been just saying GameStop stores.
So at the moment, it just seems like all of them, which would be a really good thing.
Oh, yeah?
Because they're planning to turn them into retro gaming hangouts. So they want to turn it into a place where you can go in and play games. You can try out new games or take part in leagues or things like that.
Play older games or set up, like Kyle just said, esports stuff.
Yeah, a lot of esports stuff. They have heavy investments in esports as well. They opened a new center I think it's somewhere like where the Broncos train or something like that. It's the same building.
Somewhere in Denver?
That makes sense. I'm pretty sure it is. Like, they're opening like a big esports center there, and now they're going to rebrand all their stores. So they're very much aiming for getting people in to play games.
Because there has to be this is the thing. There has to... You know, a good example is Toys R Us, used to be really popular, right? And
it still is in my heart.
it used to be really popular, but it died off when Toys R Us stopped being about showing off the cool things and having events and playing with the toys and stuff like that, and turned into just like the normal retail market thing because, like I said, most people would just rather go into a big supermarket that has all that stuff and buy it there if that's what they're looking for. But Toys R Us used to be where there would be stands set up where you could play games, test out stuff. There used to be like stalls where you would go and you would like play with the toys and you test out things. They'd have events.
Like I remember in their game section, they used to always have the screen set up, you know,
with like 2 or 3 different consoles or something.
Whatever really do is release playing on it. You can go and you can play it for a minute.
And that's when, you know, all that stuff was in the height of its popularity. They got rid of it because it wasn't cost effective to them. They feel like people weren't using it as much. And there was a time where I think people probably weren't using it as much because people just wanted to get in and go. But nowadays, people have realized now that when it comes to get in and go, they'll do it online.
Yeah.
Now people kind of want to go into certain stores to get if it has a feel to it. I love going into a store that has a lot going on and being like, oh, this is awesome, because you don't get that as often anymore.
Yeah. It's like when I go up to Dublin, I'll go into Forbidden Planet, which is like a big comic book store. Has like 3 levels to it. I love going in there because it just has this feel to it.
People are playing games.
Like you walk in, there's merch, and then you go down one aisle, the next thing you have all like your statues, like your really expensive ones. Then you go down a bit more and you have all your comic books. Go further, posters, go even further, and then you have all your card decks. Like, it's just, the further you go, you meet all these things, and it's like, I could walk through this store and hit every single fandom in every single way.
Right.
In 5 steps. And I love that feeling.
Exactly.
In GameStop, I walk in, it's just like, you know,
come in, do my shopping, get out. Yeah. If I even want to buy anything there, because I just browse the games, see that there's nothing that really sparks my interest, and then I leave.
Like, the only time I've been to GameStop in the past year is, like, when I'd get out of college early, or I'd have, like, free periods, I'd, like, go into City Centre, and I'd go into GameStop just to kill time. And I'd just go in, flick through the used games. If there's something under €20 that I'm like, didn't get a chance to pay that, might pick it up, then I'll pick it up. But other than that, I wouldn't. The
best part about GameStop, you know, was like the stuff that they did. I mean, look at when they'd have pre-release events. I don't know if they, I assume they had them here as well.
Yeah, but, like I remember when Call of Duty and Halo and stuff like that, the opening night, like big midnight releases that were huge. And it was great.
It was amazing, and it was fun, and they'd have events and they'd give away stuff. But see, people don't want to do that now because there's nothing interesting there. People have no desire to go in there. And I'm sorry to say it, but the shops that exist nowadays that only do one thing or sell one thing, 1 or 2 things, aren't big anymore. And it's because people want to be able to do multiple things instead of just going somewhere for one thing. You don't go, you know, to a grocery store now and just want to get groceries. You also want to see, is there anything I can get for my house? Is there anything that I can, like, you know, oh, look, there's a clothes section here. I can buy some pants and stuff while I'm here because I really needed this shirt because I'm going to be outside all day, and it's a shirt that's good for, like, getting dirt. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, I go to a grocery store like Tesco. I'll go in, I'll get some bread, some milk, maybe pick up a nice chicken for dinner, and then I'll go through and I'll buy, you know, a pair of shoes, a shirt, maybe a pair of pajamas, then I go a bit further, maybe get, like, you know, some beer, go a bit further. I'll get, like, a potted plant as well.
Exactly. There's no reason for these small stores that... I don't want to say there's no reason, but it's not...
Specialized stores that focus on one thing
aren't popular anymore. They're really not.
Unless they're like garden centers.
And even then, there are places opening with better and more garden centers that you can get stuff in. Yeah. I mean, I worked at a Menards, and we had a small grocery section there.
Oh, Menards!
We had a small grocery section there. And then there was a whole garden section and garden center, as well as all the building stuff, like the building material stuff. You could go there and you could be like, I'm going to buy this garden supply stuff. Oh shit, they have wood here and stuff. I can, like, treated lumber. I can actually buy and build my deck and the whole thing that holds all my plant
deck.
and stuff. Like, shut up. You're not gonna get people that want to have these one things really anymore, except for very niche things. And gaming just isn't as niche as it used to be. No. It's really not. So for them to
make it gimmicky,
get like a retro gaming sort of thing happening, but also like throw in new stuff, like you can go in, maybe pay some money, and then you can play games on all day on a setup.
Yeah, like I could go in and like, look, I want to rent this place out on, November 15th because I want to have a tournament. I'm like, oh, what are you going to play? And I'm like, oh, it'll be, say, the new Modern Warfare that's coming out in October. I want to do a tournament with that. I want to have like 8 stages, and the winner will get this prize that I'll supply myself. Maybe you can throw something in as well if you want, for promotional reasons. If I could do that, I'm just pay a fee for that. And then we're like, yeah, work away.
And then there you have on that day, you have the people that are there doing the event, and if you sell some snacks or something like that, you can make money off of that.
Make it into an event, and then still have it open to the public to come in and shop.
But they can also watch those events and kind of check out what's going on, and then you're drawing people into the store, and the people that are there playing that league are in the store, and you have people that can buy these games. And it's like, what's better than seeing a group of people, they're having this little tournament, and then you go in because you're like, oh, you're interested, and then you go, what game is this? You ask the store clerk, what game is this? And they're like, oh, this is so.
It's just over there on the shelf.
And then the person's like, it looks really good. I'm going to go over there, I'm going to pick it up, and I want to try it now. And then, so now you have that aspect of you're making money, but you're also creating interest in the field of esports more, because esports is getting bigger.
Oh, massive.
But there's still people that doubt its viability because
even though it's filling out stadiums, and I think the latest Fortnite tournament of duos had a reward checkout of 44 million.
Right. Right now, according to some of the stuff I've heard, is a lot of the interest in stuff that's in it is because these companies are shoveling money in it to make they're trying to make it something. A false interest in it to make people interested. Yeah. And it's not because people aren't interested in it, but it's because it's so new and niche that you have to kind of break into that market, you know what I mean? It'd be like having American football a tournament, but when it first was created, you wouldn't have had that same, or it'd be like having Gaelic over in the States, until you got more people understanding it, and
it wouldn't be as big as you'd expect it to be. It'd be very niche.
You'd have to draw interest into it.
Select people would have interest in it. Until it gets that momentum, and then it'll just go boom, and it'll get big really quickly.
Right, and so you have to show more of that side of it to show the people in a local area that they could, do those things, and they could become that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with nowadays with wanting to be a pro gamer. There's nothing wrong with a kid wanting to grow up and be like, I want to be a pro football player, and then the next person says, I want to grow up and be a pro gamer.
There's no difference there in my head.
No.
It's the exact same kind of prospect.
It's an entertainment concept, and it's...
You're competing competitively.
Yes,
competitively.
You can say whatever you want, but if me or you were to go up against some of these pro gamers, we would get absolutely wrecked.
Oh, we'd be dominated.
And I could play a game for years and years and never be as good as these people because they invest all their life. And that's a talent. No matter what anybody says, that's a talent. I have played games for years and years and years and not been as good as these people that have played games for 2 years but have just figured out all the secrets and techniques to it. It's not just about you played enough, you'll be good. That's not how it is for sports either.
It's about learning the game. It's not just being able to play the game and play it good. You have to know, if I turn this way, I'm going to turn at this speed. I can jump this distance if I do this now.
Yeah, you're only going to get to a certain level. And just like with sports, if you follow it forever, yes, you may be really, really, you might follow baseball really, really, religiously. You might go out and play with your friends all the time. You might have, your own little league. But, you could still be really mediocre, in terms of everything at that, no matter how much you play it, because you just don't have that ability to look at it in the way that the pro players do. The same thing is with gaming. I know people that super good at first-person shooters, but you put them up against a pro, and they could not get the same concept down at all.
Yeah. The best example I use is, pro Smash players.
Yes.
The things they do is ridiculous. I've seen whole fights go on in the air on the edge of the map.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do they manage to keep themselves there for so long? They just know it too well.
It's next level about knowing things, but also like learning the game code into itself, learn the game coding, knowing when you need to do it. Yeah,
it's like I look at like Dark Souls speedrunners. They learn the RNG, random numbers generated. Yeah, they learn the RNG of attacks. So they go, right, there's a 30% chance his starting attack will be this.
Yeah.
So that's a lower chance. So I need to prepare for another attack, but there's still a good enough chance that it could happen. So I'll need to know that anyways. So they'll have 2 tactics going in. And
then once they see the frames...
And they'll know if he twitches his head. It's like, oh, I know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And like, oh, I know how this boss fight's going to go now. If that's his starting attack, this one's definitely going to come next. And
right. So when it comes to like the whole esports thing and GameStop, it's cool. It'll be something that appeals to a lot of people. And I'm interested to see this because GameStop has been going down the hole, and if this is what it takes, it'll be a very cool thing, and I would want to be a part of it. Yeah. I would want to be a part of it, and I think a lot of people would.
And even though, might not like GameStop's, methods when it comes to certain things at the moment, I'd be really sad to see them go under. Because they're really the last big company that's just a retailer to sell games. Like, there's no one else really, like HMV, Game, they're all on the out and out. GameStop are the only ones that are kind of trying to hang in there. So them innovating and turning it into a hangout.
And actually having a cool, actually being good to your consumers and your employees, obviously, and creating a space that people want to be in. Everybody wants to be in.
Yeah.
Even the employees.
And while at the same time making things like esports more commercial.
Yeah.
So, the average Joe who might be just coming in to pick up the next FIFA or whatever, he could see this and be like, oh, this is pretty cool. I didn't know people did this.
Right.
And then would be interested and would go home and would go online and would look up stuff and would go on Twitch and is suddenly watching live tournaments online. It's going to go that way until the point where it's like there's enough of an audience, like, oh, let's just put it on TV.
Right. So we're looking at one which they've already done in some places.
Yeah,
there is
a channel here, stuff. So there is.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There you go. It's going to be good all around. I'm looking forward to seeing what they end up doing with that. So real quick, we're just going to talk on this real quick because we've went really long with this podcast and didn't even realize it.
Oh, wow.
But when it came to Metro Exodus being on Epic Game Store, THQ Nordic said, oh, our expectations were exceeded. It did way better than we thought it would. And I think, you were saying that it's just a testament that no matter what people have to say about Epic Games,
they're still going to use it.
Yeah.
It's like PC might still be the biggest seller for Metro games no matter what, but the fact it's still the best seller even as an Epic Games exclusive just shows that people are still going to buy the game even if it's exclusive. They don't give a crap, really.
Right, you're going to lose certain people.
When you want a game, you're going to buy the game.
Yeah, and you'll lose certain people.
Yeah, the ones who are like, no, I'm not going to do it because I don't like it.
Right, but when you're looking at it and you're saying like, okay, I get it, it sucks, but they're not... Once people realize that, yes, there has been shitty things that Epic has done related to it, but overall, Epic's not trying to be shitty about it.
No.
They're trying to just be decent, actually, in the long run. And if you just stop and you say, hey, I want this game, I want to play on PC, I don't feel like waiting a year, people are just going to buy it. I would. I don't want to use Epic, over Steam, but I will because I guess it comes down to the thing of gamers being babies. Like, yes, there's less features, and yes, it sucks that they're making it exclusive, but if I want to play that game and I want to play it on that platform, then I'm going to suck it up, I'm going to play it.
Yeah.
And I may not be as happy, but I can't say, well, close down Epic when they're doing something functionally good for developers.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people are going to complain, like you said, you might not be happy using the Epic Game Store, but you will if you have to. But if you're 5 hours into a game, are you going to remember you're playing it on the Epic Game Store?
No.
Exactly.
You have no, the only thing...
As soon as you boot up the game, you're going to forget where you're playing it because you're playing the game you want to play. And that's all that really matters in the end.
Yeah. The only thing I care about Steam when I'm playing is in the background is if a friend messages me, I can easily access it.
Yeah.
And it tracks how many hours I play, which is kind of cool, and I can look at like the community page and see that stuff.
That's still stuff that's coming to the Epic Game Store, though. They don't
it
have
will
it
eventually.
yet, but it's still coming.
It will eventually. So I think people just need to stop crying about it so much. There is some shitty things that they've done, and it does suck, but they're here to stay, and they have enough money to keep it going. Even if everybody stopped playing all of the games right now, they could keep it going for like another year or two at least without any hassle, and still pay all their employees and the developers good. Yeah. So
they could just pay it off with the surplus they got from Fortnite last year.
Yeah. So let's maybe stop complaining so much about that and just.
I think we should give. No, that's not Todd Sweeney. I called him Todd Sweeney last time as well.
No, you call him Sweeney Todd. It's Todd Sweeney.
Is it Todd Sweeney?
No, it's Todd
Is it actually Todd Sweeney?
Todd Swizzle Tits. Todd Sweeney.
Todd Sweeney.
I was gonna see if it came up. No, it's not Todd Sweeney.
It's not Todd Sweeney, because that's just Sweeney Todd.
It's
Ted?
Tom Sweeney. It's
Tom Sweeney? No.
Mr.
Sweeney.
Mr. Epic Games Guy.
Epic Games Guy, yeah.
Tim Schwanny.
Yeah. That's his cousin.
Shawarma.
Shawarma. Mr. Shawarma. I think Mr. Shawarma is onto a good thing.
Yeah, he has a good idea. Let's just like wait for it to fill out, just like we waited for Steam to get good, and it's still kind of shitty in a lot of aspects. So let's just wait for that, and then we'll give it a year or two. If you're still having issues, then we'll go from there. ABC, it's simple as 1, 2, 3.
Oh.
And XYZ.
Oh, did you write that yourself?
Yeah, I wrote that.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and I also wrote that this is the end of the podcast. We love you guys so much. Thank you so much for listening.
We appreciate you.
We hope you guys will give us some feedback and let us know more about what you'd like to hear. Ask us some questions.
Just something that was mentioned in, I think it was last week's podcast, that enough people asked if they wanted to know the origin of the name. We'd tell them. I just want to give you a count that I think we're up to 2 people at the moment. I've got messages off asking to tell them the name. So I think we should set a number to that just to be safe.
I thought we did. Didn't we say 5?
Did we say 5?
5.
5, right. So
5.
What did I say, 2 people?
Yeah.
So 3 more people ask.
Yeah.
Then we'll have to say it.
What the origin of the Geek Cause name is from. We will explain it. Maybe we'll have like a little 10-minute special just talking about how we came up with the Geek
origins
together. But yeah. Anyways, thanks guys so much for listening. And we will see you next week.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.